So now I'm going to do a little short thing on experience mods, experience ratings, right? So the people that are listening to me, prospects, and that's what I'm trying to get to go call me, that they know exactly what it is. And I'll tell you guys what it is just so you know when I talk about it. So in business, these companies, just like, Jimmy's Concrete Company. So the rate for concrete, for workers' comp, everybody's got the same rate. So it's per $100 of payroll. So let's just say the concrete rate's $10 for every $100 of payroll. So if your payroll's $1 million, you pay $100,000 in workers' comp. So that's kind of how that, I'm just going to educate you guys. And you guys ask me questions too. So I kind of want you to know. So now when they go out and get a quote, you would think, okay, it's $100,000, right? Because it's $10 times $1 million in payroll. But then there are discounts and all that stuff. And then there's something called an experience rating. And what that is you go back 4 years and all the claims and the payroll that you've had. And let's just say that you've had a lot of claims. Well, that experience mod will go up. So now let's say this concrete guy's had a lot of claims and his experience mod or multiplying factor goes from a 1 to a 150. Am I keeping this kind of basic? So now you multiply $100,000 times 1.50. Now he's paying $150,000, right? Or let's just say he's got good claims experience. He has a 0.75. So now he's paying 75. So you see that delta of how that, so I got clients in all of that range. So now I'm going to talk about experience mods and the acquisitions of new companies that have experience mods. So there's a combination of entities. So now you'll start, I'm going to give probably 3 good examples of that, or 2 at least. So I'll go ahead and start right now. So now let's kind of go over experience mods, experience ratings. And I have conversations with our clients to say, if you ever get ready to purchase another company, you have to call me first. And the reason I want you to call me is because when you have a really great experience mod, let's just say you have a 0.75 experience mod, and you're getting ready, and you're a steel fabrication shop, you're going to get ready to buy another steel fabrication shop, and they have a 1.50 experience mod. Well, once you purchase that and you have common ownership in that, you have to merge that data together. You might not be so interested in buying that company for a couple of reasons. Just to say that if your experience rating goes over a 1.0, you may find that you can't bid on certain work because the general contractors don't want you because they think you're unsafe, and it's all based on that experience rating. But here's a great example of, so we have a client up in Myrtle Beach, and we've had him since 2016, and the CFO calls me and he says, look, dude, can you look at all of our, and this is one of the largest timeshare in the U.S., and he said, can you look at all of our WorkComp? So what they had is they had 3 separate entities in this timeshare, right? So one of them had a 1.0 mod, one organization, one of the entities of timeshare, and then another, because they had bought this other entity, had a 1.60 experience mod, and the other one had a 1.20. So my question to Jimmy, the CFO, is, I go, are all these entities owned by majority ownership by the same person? He goes, absolutely. So I took and I merged all these 3 companies together to see if we put them all together with one mod, what that one mod would be.
Can I guess?
Yeah, and I want you to. And what would you think it would be?
1.3.
Wrong. You would think.
You would think.
You would think
it's an average. I just took an average.
But it's a 101.
What do you mean?
Their mod, all entities combined.
1.01?
1 was 1.01. Because they don't calculate, it's not an average. And it's really about, because mods work like this. It is about NCCI, who comes up with the experience ratings. They say, if you have $1 million in payroll and you're a timeshare company, we expect you to have $20,000 in claims.
Right.
And it's based on the payroll and expected losses. If you have exactly $20,000 in claims, You have a one mod. And I'm way oversimplifying this.
Right.
But if your claims are $10,000, then your mod is under one. If it's over that, that's really an oversimplification. But now I took all of this payroll and I stacked it in one mod worksheet, and here are all the losses. And it creates this huge gap between the expected losses and the actual losses. And that's where, by the way, as soon as I did it, it saved them $156,000 by combining it.
He was happy.
First year. Because you can go, so what happens is all that data, it stays in for 3 years. So now each year, I think the next year it was like 98 and then 50 something thousand.
These all sound like lottery winnings. $156,000 out of nowhere. They should be ecstatic with you.
And they're my client now. And I didn't do anything on premium recovery. They've been my client since.
You hold on to these people
by the
because
way,
of a big win in the beginning.
So we're going to go back to
Experience mine.
experience mods. Yeah. And how important they are, because there are businesses, and I talked about this earlier, especially contractors, that if their experience rating goes over a 1, they cannot bid on work. So they get cut out of work. So it's important, and we have this guy as a client now, but his experience mod had gone over 1. And he does work out at Mosaic, out at the mines, and Bartow, Mulberry, and he has about $5 million a year contract out there. And every year they have to turn their mod in. And based on that experience rating, there's a possibility they get cut out of that contract. And somebody with a lower experience rating gets it. So that's a lot of money when you lose a $5 million contract. And so once we went in there and we found out that, of course, it was not right. When we dropped it to a 0.99 because 1 is the magic number.
Yeah.
So if you have 1 or under, you're golden with a lot of these companies. But you got to verify it every year. You can't just assume that it's right. And I think a lot of business owners look at this and they go, well, this is what my new mod is, and I guess it's what it is. No, doesn't mean anything.
So you say verified. Who?
Look, let me tell you.
The owner or the
This
client?
is the owners. Yeah, the owners think their mod is right. You know, what Ronald Reagan say
Are they
years
not
ago?
getting a piece of paper from the insurance company on
They get
on
a
a
mod
yearly
worksheet,
basis?
but it doesn't mean it's right. That's the point I'm making.
It's changing.
It changes every year. Your mod change every year. Your mod changes. I just left coming over here. Integrity Pool. They're a pool builder, and their mod just dropped to a set 0.73.
Nice.
Right.
Is that public information?
You have to pay for it.
Okay.
If you want some, I could get you just have
Just
to pay
curious
for it.
as to
I'm
whether
just
we should
like-
name everyone
But
and tell their
a business owner gets it.
Okay.
They can get it.
As
but
long
if
as
I
they're,
get it,
they're cool with being on air and everyone knowing their mod, which is good for them. This is a positive thing.
Well, yeah. And, it's just about, really, quite honestly, it's just about being aware of it. And, I use this Ronald Reagan line, what he said about Gorbachev, trust but verify.
Okay. I remember Ronald Reagan saying, what's that thing on your head?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Gorbachev. He didn't say that. What's that on your head? On your face. And so anyway, that's really what it's all about. You got to be proactive, to make sure the claims data that's going in to affect your mod and the audits are all correct.
Right.
That's all it is.